Should you live with your lawful husband or wife if you realize that you don't love them anymore? Yes, absolutely. It's crucial. It's not just worth it, it's necessary and essential. You've realized that you don't love them. Who realized it? How did you come to this understanding? Do you have a part of yourself that makes this decision? I have a question in response. Many people call things love that aren't actually love. And many misunderstand what they think they understand. As of today, forgive me, it's a worn-out fact for me, but let's remember it together. We have one mentally ill person in Russia who, as strange and wild as it is, went on stage and sang. He was completely deranged but sang. Not his own songs, mind you, lyrics written by another madman. And this song, strangely enough, was popular in Russia, with millions clapping along. Instead of crying, people indulged in this madness. Neither mind or heart in it. The song went something like this. Love comes unexpectedly, boom, and it falls down on you. When? When you least expect it. Does this happen? Never. It never has, it doesn't, and it never will. That's not how it works. You have to be a fortunate escapee from a mental institution to shout out that across an entire country. Love is always the result of hard work and a struggle against your selfish tendencies. Only passion ignites suddenly. Yes, with some effort you can transform it into love, but that's not always the case. Passion flares up intensely and quickly, but it cools down and dies just as fast. But as for love, and now I'm not speaking my own words, but the words of the Lord, love never ends. If your love has ended, it means it wasn't love. Why are you lying to yourself? You simply are incapable of love. You haven't done anything for it yet. Love doesn't come by chance, and it doesn't disappear by chance. Passion ignites suddenly, but if you start to examine yourself, why did the passion arise towards him or her? There are always reasons to come from patterns of the past, surfacing from the subconscious. You can always find them, and then the passion fades. Why? Because passion is short-lived. It's not meant to last. In Russian, the word for passion comes from suffering. A person cannot suffer endlessly. God didn't create us for that, but love never ends. I apologize for using an example I've shared before, but I'll repeat it because I know this person well. This person is my grandmother, who has passed away. She was born in 1905. She got married during Soviet times without a church ceremony, something she later deeply regretted. There were no churches left at all. They lived in southern Siberia, where all the churches has been closed. There wasn't a single church for miles and miles. She didn't even know where they were. And then the war came, and her husband, my grandfather, was taken away. He was killed, and now he lies in the soldiers' cemetery in Perm. She was left alone with 3 boys, 10, 5, and a newborn. A man proposed to her. You know what times those were. There were many women, young, beautiful, all kinds, very few men. When he proposed to her, she got scared. Are you out of your mind? What are you saying? He said, I like you a lot. Maybe we could spend some time together. Are you crazy? I'm married. I have children. How dare you? He was taken aback and said, but your husband was killed in the war. Yes, so what? He's dead to you, but to me, he's still my husband. And then she added these words, which I remembered. No one will ever love me the way my husband loved me, and you don't look for better when you already have the best. Love, if it's truly love, will never die. If it was, and it passed, and it wasn't love at all, stop lying to yourself. There was nothing real there. It was all imagined out of boredom or in idleness. And if you already entered into marriage, whether wisely or foolishly doesn't matter. The special thing about a church wedding is that God gives you 2 crowns. So the question remains, can you be mistaken? You might have been, but God never makes mistakes. So there's no feeling there, so what? I was married off. I begged my father to marry me to anyone. If the girl was 80, I didn't care. I'd become a widower quickly and go to a monastery. He married me off to a 17-year-old old lady, and we married without any feelings. They just married us off. But then came life, and we prayed, asking God for feelings. After 8 months, I declared my love to my wife for the first time. 8 months after the wedding, then 4 months later, then 2, a kind of arithmetic progression. Now it's every day. 60 years later, every day I declare my love for my wife. So what? If God has brought you into marriage, then He knows what is best for you, so make some effort to learn how to love. Divorce is only possible in one case, if your spouse has been unfaithful. In that case, the Holy Spirit departs, and then you're free. If you forgive them, then you obligate to live together and forget the past. There is no other way. Forgive me for reacting so harshly, but this is a painful topic. I want, I don't want, I like, I don't like, it's tasty, it's not tasty. This is not a conversation for Orthodox Christians. Orthodox Christians have one word, duty. You must means you must. That's it. And it also bothers me in modern divorces when people say things like this. Recently there was a case, a church family. The wife filed for divorce and they were separating. There are several reasons. He lists things that she is guilty of, and she lists things that he is guilty of. He says, if only she would change. She says, if only he would be different. And both are waiting for the other to change, not themselves. And both say, we only live once. We want happiness, not hell. We'll have time to suffer in the next life. And when they're talking, I was listening to them. I said various things, but I deliberately avoided one topic. I was wondering when they would bring it up. They never did. They have 3 daughters, 3 children. And none of those scoundrels mentioned their daughters. The oldest one just started school. The others are still very young. Not one of them said, what will happen to my daughters, to my children? Do I have the right to ruin their lives? Do I have the right to take away their childhood? Who gave me the right to tear their hearts apart? We all know very well that children in divorce and broken families grow up warped and stunted. And this will follow them like a harrow through their entire lives, distorting everything. Not one of those scoundrels, church-going people, remember their children. If they forgot their children, what kind of love are we talking about? So, before you talk about divorce, especially those with children, remember your children. Think about this. I brought these children into this world. Did I ask them for their consent? I forced them into existence, so I owe them an impayable debt. Therefore, we must spit out this phrase, my personal life, with pride and selfishness like poison, once and for all. And remember one thing, my children are my duty, my joy, and my happiness. If they cry, if I don't make them happy, then I deserve nothing more than hell, both on earth and eternity. This must be understood clearly. We have become too self-loving. We love ourselves to the point of trembling, but it only makes everything worse and worse. No, if you say you've realized you don't love someone but you're already in a marriage, remember this. If God has brought you to marriage, He doesn't make mistakes. This is where a stone-hearted person like me should be awakening their heart, not with love, but what leads to love. Learn to be patient, humble, and self-sacrificing, and to see your own flaws first. In your spouse, focus on the goodness that is there. It's there, for sure. Start from that.